Millions of years ago, on a distant planet called Cybertron, a great unrest grew between two factions of robotic beings, the Decepticons and the Autobots. With little warning, they found themselves entangled in civil war.
Led by that douchebag Megatron, the Decepticons started gunning down any bot they pleased for basically no reason, including some guy named Orion Pax, which will be important later. Rest in peace, Robro.
What Megatron didn't know was that this seemingly random encounter would end up reshaping the universe.
Thanks to a robot Gandalf, Orion Pax was rebuilt into something bigger, stronger, and way more recognizable.
The newest commander of the Autobots had risen, Optimus Prime.
The Autobots will never sacrifice freedom.
Optimus is a powerful warrior with tons of awesome robo-powers.
As a transformer, he can scan nearby objects and morph his body to resemble one, becoming a robot in disguise.
His favorite is a classic 1979 Kenworth K100 tractor. An oldie but a goodie which sports 500 horsepower and can book it over 80 miles per hour. He even gets a trailer which, when he doesn't need it, mysteriously disappears into thin air. No, really, where the hell does that thing go? I need to know.
More importantly, the life force of every Transformer resides in their spark, sort of like a soul. And Optimus is no different, except that his spark gives him a few unique abilities.
Yeah, his spark's pretty rare. Compared to other robo-people, it gives him increased strength, speed, and durability. He can shoot laser beams from his hands, fly with either a jetpack or his feet boosters, and move his limbs around while they're detached like some sort of ghost robot Rayman. Ooh!
Optimus is referred to as a 0.1%er. That is how rare a being of his caliber is.
Is that what all those people on Wall Street were protesting?
Even then, many of Optimus's abilities are further enhanced thanks to his possession of one of the most powerful artifacts in Cybertron's history, the Matrix of Leadership.
Oh, yeah, you know, it's nothing much. It's just a piece of robot god!
The Matrix is a conduit for the power of Primus, the creator of the Transformer race. With this, Optimus can heal some of his most grievous wounds.
What? Not all the time. Like, you know, when he died.
And use the power of the Matrix to light our darkest hour.
Well, he has an impressive arsenal to hopefully keep that particular problem from coming up again.
Yeah! Never again! Regardless, he wields the Ion Blaster, a giant death cannon which Prime one-hands like a boss. This big old rifle fires bolts of energy strong enough to take down most Decepticons, and can even be fired into space from ground level. Even better, it never seems to run out of ammo. One can only dream.
Optimus Prime also carries numerous weapons composed of Energon, a raw energy force used by Transformers to power their technology and, well, themselves.
He's got a glowy Energon axe and Energon swords, perfect for slicing up robots of all sizes. And I guess they'd probably work pretty good on people, too.
Fighting fire with fire, Optimus Prime led the fight against the Decepticons for several millennia. Eventually, the war even found its way to our own Earth.
But we've got nothing to worry about with Optimus protecting the planet. He's tanked blasts that would tear other bots apart, like when this mega refinery exploded. It could be seen from outer space. He's punched the ground so hard, the trees around him freaking exploded.
Child's play, Boomstick. He's strong enough to tip this large oil tanker, which, when compared to the real-life Sea-Wise giant, must weigh over 700,000 tons.
He's tossed a satellite into orbit and punched hard enough to crack Six Shot's chest plate.
Who boasted that his armor was drawn from the compacted subatomic matter of a collapsed star. Just to let you know, such a star would have a density of over 300 billion tons per cubic inch. While great density doesn't necessarily beget great toughness, this still means Six Shot's armor was 500 billion times more dense than osmium, the most dense natural material on Earth.
You're the most dense natural material on Earth.
What'd you say?
And our robo-commander wrecked it. He's fast enough to catch up to this Decepticon space shuttle in just 23 seconds.
Given the size of the Earth here and the angle of ascent, we can determine he's moving around 125,000 miles per hour. He's also a talented leader, capable of commanding 1,000 battles at the same time via the Omniglobe.
Like Skynet, but in a giant disco ball. He's used that crazy strength of his to punch through Megatron, who once tanked an explosion big enough to knock Cybertron out of orbit. And thanks to the weird robo-magic of the Matrix, he's even defeated Unicorn,
Unicron.
who's basically a giant robot Satan who eats planets. This guy is unstoppable.
Not necessarily. Optimus is certainly powerful, but after all is said and done, he has one major weakness.
To violate that law would destroy our honor.
He's just too nice.
Yeah, he's kinda all about the whole honor and fair fighting thing, which kinda screwed him over more than once, and even gotten him killed multiple times. Plus, he killed himself once just because he accidentally broke the rules in a frickin' game. Damn.
But when his back is to the wall and all hell's breaking loose, he'll fight to the end, riding the eye of the storm.
One shall stand, one shall fall.
You would be forgiven for doubting the destiny of genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist Tony Stark.
Yeah, 'cause you can add massive prick to that list too.
Tony's parents died when he was still young, leaving the mind-bogglingly brilliant prodigy to inherit a multi-billion-dollar tech company.
With mommy and daddy's purse strings, Tony decided to live it up and down in booze and the ladies.
Which was problematic considering he made his fortune as a part of a military-industrial complex, selling devastating high-tech arms to the highest bidder.
And Tony got to see his handiwork firsthand when it literally blew up in his face.
Tony never had much of a heart to begin with, but after that, he literally had even less. Unlike so many men of weaker spirit, though, Tony refused to give up. He was made of tougher stuff. He was made of iron.
So he built himself a robot suit to bust the hell out of there. And when he got back to the good old US of A, he devoted his life to protecting the world from the kinds of weapons he helped make by making an even better robot suit and becoming a superhero.
I am Iron Man.
Building new suits of armor wasn't just a hobby for Tony, but an obsession. Over the course of his long career as a founding member of the Avengers, he has constructed dozens of different models, which he can call to him at once like a literal one-man army.
Most of his armors come with the same basic toolkit: super strength, massively hypersonic flight, and repulsor blast.
Repulsors are extremely dense beams of muons, unstable subatomic particles similar to electrons. They're actually really interesting. See, they're classified as leptons, which don't have any known substructures. Just sort of like...
It's a laser!
Just suck the fun out of it. His armors also come with onboard AI, like Friday, which can hack into enemy technology, command his other suits to fight remotely, and operate down to the picosecond. That's 1/1,000,000th of a second.
Even outdated armors are strong enough to blow up a chunk of rock as big as Manhattan. By taking a look at its speed, Tony's armor would have had to be hidden with an energy of nearly 300 teratons of TNT. That's 3 times stronger than the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Years spent defending the Earth has conditioned Tony to be prepared for any threat imaginable, and he has an armor for almost any occasion.
He's got an armor to bust Hulks, an armor to bust Thors, an armor that can turn intangible, a super tiny armor that can mess with your insides, and an armor made of white sticky alien goo. Definitely not legal in all 50 states.
Gross. In order to remain as flexible as possible, though, his standard go-to is the Model Prime. It has all the classic Iron Man staples and has even incorporated size changing for extra strength, an invisible stealth mode,
And a badass lightning samurai sword! Say what you want about the smug son of a bitch, but he's definitely got style. And crippling alcoholism. But look who's talking!
It was more than likely that same devil-may-care attitude that led to Tony revealing his secret identity to the world, which I guess had no consequences.
Look, Wiz, when you build a space laser strong enough to wipe out alien fleets in one shot, I don't think the Mandarin is going to interrupt your shawarma lunch date.
That space laser is a Dyson sphere, a speculative superstructure that is meant to encircle an entire star and harness its energy. Something only possible by a theoretical Type 2 civilization on the Kardashev scale.
It's basically when you're galaxy-brained enough to draw power from the entire solar system.
I know it's comics, but the fact that Tony just has one of these lying around is insane. Known as Soul's Hammer, Tony's incomplete sphere is strong enough to destroy a planet at only a 2% charge.
Didn't you work on one of those? I remember you talking about how it'd solve your student loan problems once and for all.
On behalf of the families of several planets that no longer exist, I'm not legally at liberty to discuss that.
Years of protecting the world from aliens, gods, and even his friends. All of that stuff wore Tony down and turned him into the one thing he promised himself he would never become: a narc.
Siding with the U.S. government's enforcement of the Superhuman Registration Act led to a literal civil war between superheroes. It wouldn't be his last.
Though it did prove he could hang with the best of them. He's beaten Captain America in hand-to-hand combat, survived blows from Thor, and even took down the Worldbreaker Hulk.
He even matched Magneto. Magneto, the guy that controls metal, the thing that surrounds Tony's entire body, by amplifying his power with Jupiter's magnetic field.
And then Max punched him with the power of the sun, and it was like, no big deal. There really doesn't seem to be a limit to how insane Tony's tech gets. In the movies, this is the same guy that figured out time travel just sitting around one evening. In the time it takes me to down a beer, Tony's already shattered the laws of physics. Yeah, sure, go to the Middle Ages and play nights with Dr. Doom, you scamp.
Perhaps his greatest invention of all, however, was the E-scape, an entire virtual universe where the only limit is his imagination.
And because Tony's nothing if not predictable, he made an armor out of it. That's right, he made an armor out of a universe.
This virtual armor is composed of solid holograms that can form any weapon Tony can think of. But even it likely cannot compare to the armor Tony created inside the E-scape, the Godbuster.
It's literally Iron Man going Super Saiyan. The Godbuster was so powerful it destroyed the entire E-scape in a single blast, along with the AI controlling all of it.
An earlier iteration of the Godbuster was able to stand up to Celestials, cosmic gods that can warp reality, like Galactus, Odin, and Franklin, who can threaten the multiverse with their power.
So it lives up to the friggin' name, in case you were wondering. But it isn't that kind of power that makes Tony special. After a life spent wallowing in vice and pleasure, Tony rebuilt himself into a man he could be proud of. Someone who could sacrifice everything to save the world.
I suppose underneath it all, that man of iron had a heart of gold.
You want my property? You can't have it. But I did you a big favor. I have successfully privatized world peace.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Fight!
powerful mobile suit with some astonishing firepower, but was ultimately outmatched by the Autobot's strength, speed, durability, and experience.
I'd say Optimus was primed for this fight.
The winner is Optimus Prime.